Welcome to Merick Ulrik Talks Battletech, and today I show you my strategies for defeating Word of Blake and ComStar C3M technology and C3I technology. It's gonna be should be a fun video. Check it out. Alright guys, been a while since I made a Battletech video. We're gonna talk about how to defeat the Word of Blake. So if you're playing Battletech and you're a clanner like me and you're maybe one of the Crusader Tumans clans, so I'm going with Hell's Horses today, and I'm going to face Word of Blake on Megamech just as a practice scenario. So if you're going to attack Word of Blake or Comstar and you're a clan, you have to keep in mind that the BV values are going to be a much heavier for clan mechs, generally speaking. And then when you're dealing with Word of Blake, they have this pesky C3M technology, which really affects the targeting numbers if you go head to head with them directly. So what I'm going to do is I put together a star with Hell's Horses, and I'm going to probably bring some elementals too. So what I'm going to bring to the battle against some Hell's Horses. I'm going to bring the Mars Assault Vehicle. I'm going to bring a Griffin. Yes, that's right, a Griffin. Normally a Intersphere mech, but it's a Griffin GRF 2N, which is actually used by the Hell's Horses, by the way. This is a Star League model. And I'm going to bring a Blood Asp B, and I'm going to bring a Shadowhawk B, and a adder S. So what do all these mechs in that one vehicle have in common? They have ECM suites or ECM technology, which is going to help block the C3M technology of Word of Blake, or Woobies as they're known, or Comstar. But in this case, Word of Blake, we're going to be fighting against their C3M technology. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to Megamech, and I'm gonna play a scenario, and we're gonna see how it goes. This is strategies for defeating Word of Blake Part 1, because I do have another strategy, and we're gonna see how this strategy plays out today. It may win, it may lose, but knowing that Word of Blake in this case is going to use C3M technology, I'm going to use ECM technology to block their power of their C3M. So we're going to interfere with their C3M with an ECM bubble. Let's see if this is successful. Plus, there's going to be a lot of mechs on the board, and this ECM technology does take up some BV costs. So let's see if this is a valuable strategy. There's a couple other strategies you can use. So I've got four mechs in a vehicle here, and I'm probably going to bring 3 elemental points. Let's see if this will be enough to defeat how many countless mechs and vehicles that uh, that ComStar or Word of Blake can bring. So let's see. So here we go into the actual battle as I narrate it on Megamech. I don't know if I'll be successful, but this is a strategy. And basically, I'm using a lot of ECM technology. So all of my mechs and vehicles have ECM technology. So let's see if this strategy pays off or if I get destroyed. I lost the initiative, so I'm going to go ahead and move my first vehicle first. I'm going to move the Mars Assault Vehicle, position them there, and I'm going to deploy. And as you'll see, I do have some elementals. So the elementals are, shall we say, low cost in BV. So I have a little more things on the board. Look, they're covering the corners. I changed I changed from Queenie or whatever it's called, Sweetie, I forget what it's called. Changed it to a little bit more aggressive for Word of Blake. A little more aggressive, a little more bravery, because Word of Blake has pronouncedly very brave, because they are, as you can call it, they are religious fanatics, as we all know. So anyways, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and cluster my forces together pretty much. Yep. Ooh, I should have loaded elementals on that. That was a big mistake. Uh-oh. This one, I'm using the Griffin. You can't load elementals on a Griffin. So, nope, that's not going to be of any help. this. The Puma is very light, fast for the most part. I'm using battle armor troops with micro pulse lasers. That's kind of cool. I always do that, make sure they're already loaded. Okay. Let's see where they're just spreading their forces out. They've got lots of forces to move around, so they've got plenty. All right, and I got my last one here. It's my Shadowcat B, and Shadowcat B has jump jets. I'm gonna place them right here, and I'm going to load. Double check that I loaded them. Yep, loaded. Deploy. And then I got some elementals to deploy as well. Why do I have that song in my head from that Sound of Music soundtrack? I haven't even watched that in forever. I don't know why I have that song in my head. I don't know. Alright, let's see if this battle gets started. I deployed my troops, and what do you know? I got initiative. It really doesn't matter because we're using a pretty big map, and we're pretty far away. So they're clustered over here. What, is it freezing? No, there they are. This is the enemy right there. So they've got quite a few mechs and vehicles, and I've got 5 mechs. Well, I have 4 mechs and 1 vehicle, and I have a bunch of elementals. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and deploy the Mars assault vehicle. It can't go very fast. It cannot go very fast. I don't think anybody's going to see us this turn. We're way back here. So we do have intervening terrain, don't we? Quite a bit. Okay. Alright, the Griffin. The Griffin's got some speed. It can jump. It can do a lot of stuff. Alright, I like it. I like it. I'm hoping they don't have a shot on me. Not for a while. Okay, what else we're gonna do here? Let's move these elementals that are just sitting around here. Man, I got that silly song from the Sound of Music in my head, and I haven't even watched that in years. What is the deal? Why? Why do I have that song in my head? Don't know. Alright, so this first couple of phases here, stages, are probably going to be usually, we have a large map, usually kind of uneventful. We'll see as we move into turn 2 probably. Alright, Puma S. Just in there. Jump. Kind of all clustered together like one big happy family. Exterminator moved. Let's see. Anybody got a line of sight on anybody? He don't. Who's that? He does have a line of sight on that? He's not going to be able to shoot him though. Too far away. Alright, nobody's range for that. 20 is nobody's in range. No, nobody's in range. There's something that got some lines of sight though. ERPPC. Ooh, we got a shot. 12. So we might as well fire. Got to fire on that ERPPC. As we see, people do have a line of sight, so let's fire. Shoot. He ain't gonna have a line of sight. No. And LRM-15s. Nope. Out of sight. And nope. Done. Need a spot. Could have spotted, but they're not going to be able to see me anyways. Alright. Weapon fire for Griffin. Missed. So I want to go ahead and just summarize what happened in this battle because it was an hour and 45 minutes. Pretty slow and tedious. The ECM suites pretty much neutralized the C3M technology, but it made just a really slow grind. I ended up surviving with one Shadowcat, pretty much unblemished, and I had 1 point of elementals surviving, but everything else in my group got annihilated, and I was able to annihilate the Word of Blake forces, every one to the last man. But a very long grinding game, but it did work. I mean, technically I did win, but it was just with very few troops remaining. So I went ahead and sped this up because just pretty long. I know that in this game too, I got right away. My one of my favorite mechs. Can't remember which one it was. Got a headshot. I think got taken out. Or it didn't get taken out, but definitely one of my mechs, can't remember exactly which one, got a headshot, unlucky headshot. But other than that, I mean, the Mars assault vehicle got immobilized probably like on the 4th turn and then got destroyed. But it's funny because with the program that you have with Mega Mech, they spent all their forces like shooting at it, which was funny because was shooting with my other mechs while they were taking all their time on my Mars assault vehicle that was already damned pretty much. But yeah, this technique did work. The strategy of using ECM suites to neutralize C3M technology was pretty costly, and it just took a long, slow grinding battle with used a lot of the elementals to spot for indirect fire too. So use that strategy, and that worked. But it was a slow grinding battle. So I have another strategy that I'm going to talk about in this next video, and we'll see how that went out. I do know how that went. It went pretty well. So I have a different strategy for defeating Word of Blake C3M technology besides just using ECM suites. And but using ECM suites did work. It does neutralize the C3M technology. They still can use things like tag. They can do that even with the ECM suite. It doesn't neutralize tag, so they can do that. A lot of things that the Word of Blake forces can use. And I did use some of their vehicles. I used a Manicore, and some vehicles, but mostly mechs. They had a large force compared to my 1 star of mechs and vehicles. Actually, I believe I had 4 mechs and 1 vehicle, the Mars assault vehicle, and I had 5 points of elementals, making 1 star of elementals. So it was like a binary that I employed against the Word of Blake. But anyways, it did work, but it was a slow grinding battle. This is being sped up at 20 times speed. So my camera did die, so I don't even have the whole video. That's another reason why I went ahead and just narrated this part and just made sure that maybe it'd be more entertaining. So I'm going to have another video right after this. So if you want to watch the rest of this battle unfold until my camera died, and then and I will talk about it in the video coming right up. Alright, enjoy this little montage of BattleTech fighting on Mega Mech. It was fun. It's a fun little game. Because we're playing as clan forces, we do have the benefit of usually being a 3-4, a gunnery 3, and a piloting skill 4 against a Word of Blake force with a gunnery skill of 4 and a piloting skill of 5, which makes us hit more often, especially with better weapons that have longer ranges. So that does give us some advantage against a lot of other mechs. So yes, I complain about the BV value, but we do have a lot of advantages when you're using clan forces, clan technology, and clan piloting skill and gunnery skill. So yeah, it's not too shabby. It worked out really good. So Mega Mech does have some randomness too. And of course, you're gonna, with any game of BattleTech, you're going to have some piloting skill rolls. You're gonna have sometimes you roll really hot, sometimes you roll dead, sometimes you roll snake eyes. So it just depends on whether you're trying to roll for a critical or if you're trying to roll for a piloting skill roll. So yeah, there was a little bit of that, but still the averages came out all right. I was able to do a lot of damage quickly, but when I say quickly, it was a lot of moving around. When I didn't have the initiative, I was looking for cover a lot of times, and when I did have initiative, I was looking to attack and get the best possible targeting numbers on the right possible point of view. The another thing you want to think about with BattleTech is that when you're in battle, whether you get initiative or not initiative, The clan rules apply for the Zellbringer honor code, but I would say it this way: if they kick me or if they do physical attack to my mech, then all Zellbringer rules are off. So I will definitely kick back, or I will, use physical attacks and anything like that. So if they break Zellbringer code, I am going to break it as well. So it really always just goes down to that, unless you're fighting with clan forces and clans enforce Zellbringer um, honor code, then that's completely different. So yeah, without further ado, this battle is going to end in abruptly because my phone died, and I'm going to come back in just a few minutes and we'll talk about the next strategy of fighting Word of Blake or ComStar and defeating them when they use their C3M technology. So let me go to that, and you can follow along on this montage real quick of this sped up battle if you want to, or you can just skip ahead 10 minutes and we'll talk about it. All right, I'll see you in the next part of the video. All right. So plan A went about this way. I took a star of mechs in, as you saw that I reviewed in the last video or previously on this video, and I every mech in that star had ECM technology, and then I brought a star of elementals. That's five points of elementals, and the outcome I ended up on the Mega Mech. I ended up my phone died as I was recording that, so I didn't get the full video, and I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up because there was a lot of dry segments where it was just like getting in position, nothing happened, and I wasn't really talking that much to describe it. So I'm gonna go ahead and narrate that. So you'll have already seen that just right now. So let me go ahead and fill you on what happened after my phone died. And you'll just have to trust me, but this is the actual truth. It kind of would ground down. It was grinding down. It was a grind out fight that actually took like 2 hours on Mega Mech to finish. And at the end of the day, I did defeat the Word of Blake forces with their ECM technology. Excuse me, there's their C3M technology with ECM suites on all my mechs. But it was a battle of attrition. So at the end of the day, all I had left was a Shadow Cat, and I had 1 point of elementals that were pretty well um, uninjured. So, but everybody else was destroyed in the battle. So it was a grind, and it was a ground and pound, grinding, slow moving fight. The ECM suite did negate the C3M technology, but I had to pay for that in BV. And so there was a whole lot of Word of Blake, ComStar forces on the battlefield. So we had vehicles, and we had a lot of mechs on board, so it was just a long drag out battle. So, plan B for defeating Comstar is using fast moving mechs with jump capabilities, clan mechs, with also pulse lasers and with targeting computers. So, my hope is that I can move in fast, and even though they may be able to tag me or use C3M on me, my hope is that I'll have so many movement modifiers because I'm jumping around and moving fast and shooting those pulse lasers at lower numbers that I'm going to start devouring them faster, even with their C3M technology. So let me tell you what I've picked for this battle. I have a horned owl or a peregrine, which is peregrine. Okay, if I didn't pronounce that right, and that's a light mech, a 35 tonner, and it is equipped with large pulse lasers and two medium pulse lasers. Has a walk of 6, a run of 9, and a jump of 6. So jumping 6, it can get a +3 defense modifier, so that's good. And then you got all those large pulse lasers. It is a light mech, so it's not heavily armored, but this is my lightest mech on my star that I have included. My second lightest mech is a Shadowhawk 2C. One of the good things about the peregrine, or the horned owl, is also it has fusion engines. I like fusion engines because they're only located in the center torso. So without getting center torso hits, you're not going to take out the fusion engine. So that means that if you could lose a whole right torso and still have no engine hits, a whole left torso and have no engine hits, so you still be in the battle. So that's one thing about that I like. Although if you get some center torso hits, you can of course hole out the mech, destroy it. The Shadowhawk 2C standard is the same. It's got a 696 uh, movement what do you call it? Movement modifier. That's not the right word. Its movement is a 6 walk, a 9 run, and a 6 jump. So it's the same as the horned owl. Now the Shadowhawk 2C is equipped with 2 medium pulse lasers, and that's good, and 1 ER medium laser. It also has 1 ER small lasers, and it has 4 Streak SRM2s. So it's not heavily armed. It's got those medium pulse lasers, and it's going to be able to jump around a lot. It has more armor, a little bit more armor than the Horned Owl, just a little bit more, but it does have more, especially in the legs. Yeah, almost double in the legs, almost double in the center torso. So it's a little more armored, but it's got that same jump capability, and it's got weapons, and the streaks. One good thing about the streak SRMs is no heat unless the target is hit. So once the lock is connected with the streak SRMs, then it fires and automatically hits with all SRMs. And then you do the heat. So you can fire those a lot, and then you're only going to get penalized for heat if you actually connect, if you lock a target. So that's pretty good. On going up the chain on weight size, I picked the Go Shock or the Vapor Eagle, which this is just a badass mech all around. It's got 696 as well. That is a walk of 6, a run of 9, and a jump of 6. But this one is packed full of weapons, and armor wise, it's not much more than a little bit more than the Shadowhawk, a little bit more, but not a whole lot more, just a little bit more all around. And it's a 55 tonner. It's got a large pulse laser. It's got 2 medium pulse lasers, and then it's got 2 streak SRM-2s, and then it's got 4 machine guns, and it's got a targeting computer. So all those pulse lasers are going to be firing at a -3 to hit. So with that, this is just a great benefit. So let's see if this thing can do its duty. But this does have XL engines, unlike the other mechs that I mentioned. This one does have XL engine technology, so it's got engines in its left and right torso and center torso. There's a lot of chances for engine hits. All right, and moving up, I got a heavy mech. This is one of my favorites. We did a video about this one. It's the Rifleman 2C. The Rifleman 2C has 4 large pulse lasers. What else can we say? It's a 353. That means it has a walk of 3, a run of 5, and a jump of 3. So it's a little bit slower than the original Rifleman, but it's way heavily armored compared to the original Rifleman, of course. And it can almost fire. It can fire all those large pulse lasers because it has 38. It has 19 double heat sinks, giving it 38 heat sink, whatever, basically usage there. And so those large pulse lasers, if he's standing still, it's going to do 40 heat. So that's not bad. Of course, he's going to be jumping around, so he's probably going to do a minimum of uh, 3 heat for the movement modifier phase, and then plus whatever weapons you fire. So you cycle those large pulse lasers. You don't fire them all the time. It does also have an ER small laser and an active probe. There are some alternate rules for active probes. Depending if you follow those rules, that can be some extra benefit. So this is a relatively light lance in a sense because it doesn't have a assault mech in it, but we do have another heavy, and that is the Black Python. And I chose this mech because it has lots of pulse lasers and it has a targeting computer. So you're going to get that -3 on a lot of things. It's also pretty fast. It's got a walk of 5, a run of 8, and a jump of 5. So it's just a little bit slower than the Horned Owl, but it's not too slow. So this one's going to be right up there with the Ghost Shock or the Vapor Eagle, right up there. It's basically the slowest one on the battlefield is going to be that Rifleman 2C. But this Viper or Black Python has that targeting computer that's giving it just a great advantage on the battlefield. It's got just as much armor, a little bit more armor than the Rifleman, so it's the most armored one on the Star. Heat sinks, it's got 11 double heat sinks, so it's not completely heat efficient because it has how many? Let me check out, see how many. It has a lot, and I mean a lot of small pulse lasers, which you probably only use when you're very close range. So you're not going to be using those a whole lot. Let's see, where is this thing at? I think I printed it out or I got it here. Well, anyways, we looked at it. Nope, I don't have a copy of it right here, right in front of me. But let me count this real quick. Hold on, pull it up. Here we go. Technology. I'm just looking at my other computer screen. So yeah, it has. Look at how many. It's got 2 machine guns, and it's got 4 small pulse lasers, 2 large pulse lasers, and 2 medium pulse lasers. So we're not going to be using a lot of those small pulse lasers all the time. We're only going to be using them when they're up close. Machine guns give off no heat, so we probably fire them anytime they're in range. Yeah, so this is a pretty awesome mech. You are going to find heat issues sometimes because we've got basically we can compensate for 24 heat, and you have 36 possible heat with weapons. So yeah, so mostly we might choose to use those small pulse lasers when we're very close range. Normally we're going to be firing those large pulse lasers or those 2 medium pulse lasers. And probably going to be firing 1 large pulse laser and 2 medium pulse lasers when we are closer. And then we probably go down to using 1 medium pulse laser and using 4 small pulse lasers when we're even closer. So, yeah, that's what I probably do. We'll see if that works out. Because those medium pulse lasers only do 4 heat per turn. Those large pulse lasers do 10. So, yeah, that can add up pretty quick. You can fire 2 large pulse lasers and 1 medium pulse laser. If you jump, you're going to be 3 overheat. The heat is going to stack on itself. So, depending on your targeting numbers when you go into battle, you don't alpha strike when you have bad targeting numbers. So, we just have to see how it goes. So, this next scenario, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing a clan of ComStar and or Word of Blake mechs and vehicles against my star here. I'm not going to take elementals this time, and so that's going to lower the BV a little bit. But I'm telling you, the elementals are a good little thing to have in your corner. So, without further ado, let's go into battle and let's see how this goes. And I'll try to narrate as we play. So, check out, and I will recap how the battle goes in a few moments. All right, here it is, my second half of the battle for ways to defeat ComStar and Word of Blake. So what I have here, my lance is my star, excuse me, not a lance, a star, is 5 mechs. I didn't bring elementals this time. Kept the battle value down to about 14,000. I brought a black python, that's a viper, a different name, rifleman 2C standard, the ghost shock, or Vapor Eagle, if you call it that, the standard configuration, Shadowhawk 2C standard, and the Peregrine, or the Horned Owl standard. So we got a true 2C custom battle star here with a Ghost Shock. And so here is the deal. The strategy we're going to use against Word of Blake today is a very simple strategy. We have no ECM suites. We're going to be jumping around, moving fast, firing pulse lasers. So let's see if this is a total bust, if I die out completely. The last battle that we had with using ECM suites, I grinded out a victory with 1 mech surviving and 1 point of elemental surviving. So now, ComStar, or Word of Blake, has a Flashman, FLS 9C. These all have C3M or C3I technology. The King Crab, this one has the King Crab with a C3I, and we have the Katana, the Lancelot, the Panther, Phoenix Hawk, Exterminator 5F. That's a powerful make. And then I have some vehicles to round out Word of Blake's. We got the Manticore. It's a powerful, very powerful tank there. Has a lot of good weapons. It's also a C3 Master. And then we have 2 of those. And then we have a Dart Scouter car with C3. And then we have a Demon tank with C3. So let's see how this goes facing a larger force, of course. Now, we are 3-4, piloting skill 3, gunnery skill 3, piloting skill 4, and they are 4-5s. And that's the way it is with Word of Blake. Clanner's a little bit more skilled. Let's hoping jumping around can avoid bad targeting numbers with the C3M technology. And we're playing on a grassland map, and so let's just see how this goes. So we're going to go ahead and start the battle. And what I'm going to do, because a lot of the strategy session can be really boring, so what I'm going to do is we're going to film the rest of this battle in time-lapse mode, so it'll go by really fast. And at the end of the battle, I will recap what has happened. So you really won't be getting a play-by-play, but I tried doing that long form, and I just feel like it's so boring. Sometimes I don't talk a lot because there's a lot of just, do I go here? Do I go there? A little bit of thinking. Kind of takes a long time. So we're just going to time-lapse this video, and then we will I'll meet you at the end here, and I'll recap what has happened. If this strategy works, will this strategy work using jump-capable mechs with pulse lasers, and I think we even have a few. And the Viper has a a targeting computer to it. And I believe the Ghost Shock does as well. So you get really good numbers with those. So let's see how we do with this strategy of using pulse lasers, clan pulse lasers with jump technology. So we're gonna have to move in really fast. We're gonna have to do damage really fast because they've got a huge huge lance here of six mechs, no more than that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mechs, and 4 vehicles. So really outnumbered. Let's see if this pays off. So here we go. We're jumping into battle, and the rest is going to be times lapse. So, all right, I did not get initiative. Big surprise. Okay, we're going into time lapse mode. Wow, I was really surprised at how well this battle went. You really have a hard time watching this. It's so sped up, but basically my strategy was real simple. I was just going to have as many movement modifiers as I could for Word of Blake to try to attack me, and it worked. And I had my clan pulse lasers and my targeting computers, and when I was left, I had 4 mechs surviving. It's hard to do a play-by-play on this because this was some time ago when I played this battle, and I'm just now editing it. But it was basically just try to be as aggressive as possible, move forward, especially when I had initiative, try to get good positioning, use cover when possible, and just fire as many weapons. I did go overheat a little bit, just being dangerous, and it worked out okay. I do remember at some point my Ghost Shock got taken down by having did have some critical hit that took it out, but other than that, I had 4 surviving mechs, so my heavy mech survived and my 2 light mechs survived, so it was a pretty good battle. Okay, so the wrap up, the star with all the jump and jump capable mechs, clan star with the 2C mechs, and like the Shadowhawk 2C and the Rifleman 2C, and we had the Gauchok, and we had the Black Python, and all those mechs in the Peregrine, the Horned Owl. They did pretty well actually. So I ended up winning the battle with 55% of my BV remaining. That's 7,792. We had a 50% casualty rate, but we totally annihilated the Word of Blake forces down to the last man completely. And that took 24 rounds. So as you can see, like, if we were calling that out, it would have been hours of play. So, yeah, the strategy worked pretty good. You can see we just decimated everything on here. We decimated over 6 mechs and vehicles. And, you know, they had some good ones on there. They had a King Crab. They had 2 Manticores, Phoenix Hawks, a Lancelot, Flashman, a Panther. I mean, the Panther's not the greatest, but it was just mixed in there with that. But yeah, and we also had a Demon Tank and a few little other things. A Darter Scout. You know, it was all aligned with the C3M, C3I technology. So it worked out in my favor this time. I was questionable if this was going to happen, so I didn't have any ECM protection, but we moved around, jumped around a whole lot. This just made us have quite a lot more success, because with the pulse lasers and targeting computers, we're getting better numbers. Plus, we were 3-4 BV as a clan specialist, and not the 4-5 gunnery targeting number. So I got the little backwards. But anyway, so this method did work against Word of Blake. So I had 1 star of 5 mechs, including a heavy mech, which was my heavy was the Black Python, and the Rifleman 2C also counts as a heavy. It's not too much. 2 heavies, 2 mediums, and 1 light mech. It might have been 2 mediums and 2 lights. Let's see. The Gauchok is a medium, I believe. And the Shadowhawk 2C is a medium, and then we had the Peregrine, which is a 35 tonner. So yeah, so 2 larges, 2 mediums, and 1 light, and we defeated a lot of mechs. So anyways, this does work if you want to use this strategy. Using jumpy mechs with pulse lasers gets the job done against this C3M technology. As you can see, I still have my Black Python still intact. It doesn't have much damage. I have my Rifleman 2C. Got a pretty good amount of damage on both my Rifleman 2C standard and my Shadowhawk 2C standard. What did get destroyed was my Peregrine, that
horned out, and also lost the Goshawk. How do you say that? Goshawk. The Goshawk or the Vapor Eagle. But it happened. It's got some critical hits and stuff. Turned out okay. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to the Merick NH Ulrik podcast. Please like and subscribe to this channel. We'll see you next week. Thank you.